We have a question also. One of your readers in Stockholm wants to see more of the lands of the south. Do you have any plans, like Sothoryos? How do you pronounce that?
I don't know.
Sothoryos?
Sothoryos.
Sothoryos, yeah. Are we going to hear more about them?
Probably not. I mean, maybe an occasional cryptic sentence here and there that, Ilio and Linda will put on their Westeros Maesters page and their bullet lists that they have there.
Anything cryptic goes there.
Yeah, you can just wave if you want the mic, sorry.
Those bullet lists were the beginning, of course, of the world of Ice and Fire, I mean, when I'm about to write something about Norvos, I go to their page and say, what have I said about Norvos? Oh, I've said that everybody there has a pet grasshopper and and they talk backwards. Okay. Now I have to add more stuff to that.
Very good system.
It was tough to, okay, now I write the histories of 9 free cities, and there were some cities where there were quite a few things that I could use, and there were other cities where there was basically nothing about, yes, they keep pet grasshoppers, and they talk backwards. That was all there was. So I had to make up stuff.
Yeah, that was one of the parts that was, like, as we started writing The World of Ice and Fire, became to us, like, increasingly clear. We thought, we'll just get a few notes from you, and we'll fill out the rest based on just some notes. And we realized, like, there was such a disparity between certain regions, but you had, like, a lot about Bravos, for example, and you had almost nothing about Lorath. And so then we're like, what kind of notes are we going to get from George to kind of resolve that? And what we got instead was thousands and thousands of words about these magnificent, wonderful things. And we would wake up in the mornings, George, when you sent it to us, I guess it was evening for you, it would be early morning for us. We'd be getting up at like 5 a.m. to check, what has George sent us now? It's very exciting.
The present day mysteries in Ice and Fire will be resolved mostly. But I also like the ancient histories of, what lies beyond the dark curtain and where the gods came from. No, I'm not going to bring any gods on stage. I'm not going to give you a complete history of Sothoryos and, the mysteries of Yin will have to remain mysterious and for people to, to wonder about themselves. I think they're left better that way, a little more mysterious and cool. What was I going to say about the mysteries of? I do also believe in a certain amount of ambiguity and subtlety. Going through this museum, you look at the display on King Carl XII, who was shot in the head, and no one knows whether he was shot in the head by the enemy or his own men. We don't know that. It's ambiguous. It's right there in display. Maybe he was killed by the Swedes and maybe by the Norwegians he was fighting. Who killed them? We'll never know. So if that's true in life, why shouldn't it be true in fiction? What happened to the 2 princes in the tower? People are arguing about that, 500 years later. Who killed them? Were they killed? Were they smuggled out and saved? Who knows? Why shouldn't we have similar mysteries in fiction that we can argue about and wonder about, since they exist in real life?